saying, those who can't do, teach, I hate that saying. First, it makes the assumption that anyone can teach, and second, it undermines the importance that teaching has within our society. And I've heard this with respect to therapy. People often think therapy looks something like this, a naturally gifted therapist that's able to do, as if it's some inherent ability to fix people's lives. In my experience delivering therapy, it actually looks a little different, more like this. The therapist is a teacher, teaching the client new skills and working with that client to build those skills. As a therapist, if you can't teach, you can't deliver therapy. So really, teaching is a prerequisite to doing. And part of the mistake is thinking that all teachers and students look something like this. But really, teachers look like a lot of different things. And students also look like a lot of different things. For example, who do you think teaches pilots to fly? Who teaches doctors to heal? Who teaches soldiers to fight? And perhaps most relevant to every day, who's teaching new drivers on the road? And teaching goes beyond individuals. It includes things like training, advising, consultation, and dissemination. Many organizations rely on some form of teaching, either within the organization or to the broader public. When you think about it, we're surrounded by teachers. And what's scary is that bad teaching can be dangerous. Bad teaching makes others worse at what they need to do. So we have to think very carefully about how we go about evaluating teaching. And one way we can do that is similar to how we might evaluate a new dentist. For example, we can consider the outcome. And this is what many researchers focus on with respect to teaching. So at the dentist, the outcome you're looking for is that you leave your appointment with white teeth free of cavities. Scientists look at this via group data, looking at the average outcome across many individuals. But that's not the whole story. Just because you leave your appointment with white teeth doesn't mean you go back to it, but they still start here. So for example, they might consider 3 different methods of dentists. And in looking at these 3 different methods, they might find that method 1 produces the cleanest teeth across many individuals. But going back to those other considerations is process. What happens during the appointment is important too. Is it painful? Is it too long? Researchers in my field look at this via single case design, examining a few individuals or even just one closely over time. So whereas before method 1 produced the cleanest teeth, a process analysis shows that method 2 is actually much more efficient. We might want to use method 2. At very least, now we have options. So looking at both outcome and process gives a better overall understanding of the appointment. But we also can't forget about that dentist. He's a human and can make mistakes, influencing both. And bringing this back to teaching, this is where my research is focused. I want to understand what happens when teachers make mistakes. How does this influence outcomes, and how does it influence process? To look at this, I built a computer program that taught many individuals either perfectly or imperfectly. And when looking at outcome, I found what many other researchers have found. Across most people, when teaching is imperfect, students tend to have worse outcomes. But what's interesting is when looking at process across so many individuals, I found something different. I found that different learning trajectories emerged. When teaching was imperfect, individuals in Group A were still able to learn but slower. Individuals in Group B kept guessing and never learned. And individuals in Group C actually learned the wrong thing. And importantly, this can also affect learning experiences. Those unable to learn or who have more difficulty can come to distrust teachers or view learning really negatively. Equipped with this knowledge of both outcome and process, we can better select teaching and training packages and tools to aid teachers. We can prevent errors that are most detrimental to learning and also better support learners when we know errors might occur. As a researcher, what this means is that it's actually wise to look beyond your individual camp of knowledge and your individual camp of training. It's actually helpful to look what other researchers are doing and what other fields of science are doing to inform how to look at your area of interest in novel ways. With respect to my area of interest, I found that teaching is pervasive. Teaching can also be imperfect, which is a problem for some individuals. But by looking at both outcome and process, we can improve teaching and learning. Thank you.